Each enemy is more powerful than before. Only with true mastery of the Tenno arsenal will you succeed.
Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink, cause I think I'm going all in. Get me a shrink who can catch me when I'm falling.
Port has been replenished.
Alright, malicious, delicious people, welcome to the Corinth Prime. The reason why we're inside the simulacrum is actually quite simple. It has a boom secondary fire. As you can see, it's a little beeping bomb, but it doesn't explode when it hits. Instead, when you are firing it into the air, you press it again and it will explode. However, I made a very conscious decision to skip the explosion altogether and instead just go for the big boom. Because the big boom feels really good. It is a bit slow, and I would actually suggest not to go into a survival with this weapon. But that's honestly the only complaint I kind of have for it, because it can actually take out acolytes. The problem is you have to land all your hits, and yeah, I had a hard time with that. So yeah, I hope you don't have a hard time with it, and remember that however you want to play with it is however you want to play with it. But I would definitely suggest some sort of direct damage mod in order to get the secondary fire going. Yeah, and I will see you in the build. Alright, so we're going with a viral and hunter munitions setup. Keep in mind we're using the 90s here, but the 90s have this thing where, yes, it doesn't have status, but it hits 15 times. So it's still guaranteeing at least one viral proc because it's getting 15 rolls of 16%, which is like, that's almost guaranteed because of how many times you're rolling. Especially since with hunter munitions, I have gotten 10 slash procs in a single shot, but then again, I've also gotten none. So it's a little bit of a roll of the dice. We're going to be using critical deceleration, but as a quick tip, in survival, it's not as good of a mod to be using. But honestly, the crit chance mod that is besides this is probably not worth it, so just don't take this into survival unless you really want to test your aim. I have been having problems with my aim because the cursor, for some reason, I don't register that it's there, and I don't know why. I'm probably gonna have to get my eyes checked or something. Also, we're gonna be using Savvy, because we are gonna be wanting to hit the targets multiple times. And the damage mod is going to be replaced with Merciless, as we are going to be killing very often. Vigilante Armaments to give us a 5% chance to get an orange crit, and Prime Ravage to make it to where that orange crit will also be 11.2? 11.2, yes, I got it right. Anyway, that's the build, and I'll leave you off with the ringings. Alright, so this weapon is going to be put onto a little bit of a chopping block because I was considering giving this weapon a 1. And the reason is very, very simple. It's the fact that it's very, very, very slow. Yes, I did put a minus fire rate mod on it, but I've tested it without the minus fire rate mod on it. And it tended to do way less damage to a point where it wasn't worth it because I was spending 2 rounds rather than 1 on each target. And because of that, it kind of sort of evened itself out, which is not very great. But essentially, this weapon is getting a 2 because of the fact that it's so freaking slow that I have had to accept the fact that I needed to put a failed quest as our demonstration, and that's very unfortunate. Same thing with the last weapon I did, but essentially it's such a slow weapon that unfortunately it just doesn't kill fast enough. In most missions that tend to be farming missions that you that most people like to do. You basically are in this situation where you're gonna run out of life support, or you're gonna get the target killed, or you're gonna get the excavation target like killed, or something like that. And it's like, oh, what about exterminate? Same thing, honestly, because why go one target at a time when you could literally go dozens at a time? Even with like a bullet hose, it still does it still does more kill potential than the shotgun. So it's getting good too, unfortunately. That's me being a little bit lenient with it as well, because I tried to remember that I was just upset about the fact that it was so slow. So yeah, keep in mind that to each their own in a good way. If you like using a slow weapon to take out one target at a time during exterminate, very, very fine. I'm not going to stop you. Remember, if you want to play a certain way, don't let people stop you. So, yeah, if, well, as long as it's effective. Sorry, I just want to add that in there. But essentially, yeah, there's the rankings. It's, very unfortunate. My favorite shotgun, by the way. So, yeah, there's no bias here. Might be why I'm lenient, but yeah, it's a very interesting situation. Favorite shotgun, one of the least highest ranking weapons I've ranked. So yeah, so I hope you have wonderful, wonderful nightmares. I hope you enjoyed yourself, and I hope you learned something. So yeah, I will see you in those nightmares. And remember, if you're watching my content, I know you're into it. Honey, honey. Good night.
Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream.